No, so Neuralink, you'll be able to see Neuralink coming from a very long distance.
Elon Musk's Neuralink recently made a big announcement detailing the specifics of the first ever human trial for their groundbreaking brain implant technology and revealing the identities of the first Neuralink users. Neuralink has confirmed in a recent announcement that they are actively seeking human test subjects for their R1 surgical robot procedure and N1 brain-computer interface device. The company announced that they have received full approval from an independent institutional review board to start the process of choosing their first human subjects for a clinical trial. This trial, which is currently being called the PRIME study, short for Precise Robotically Implanted Brain-Computer Interface, will be a groundbreaking investigational medical device trial of Neuralink's fully implantable wireless brain-computer interface, and it could take up to 6 years for Neuralink to finish and confirm their findings. Patients will check in with a medical team every 2 months during the primary study period, which will span the first 18 months following the device's implementation, to monitor their progress and make sure the Neuralink device is continuing to function as intended. Every patient will participate in 1-hour BCI research sessions with the Neuralink team at least twice a week for the duration of the 18-month primary study. Following the primary study, the long-term follow-up phase of the trial will commence with 4 clinical visits annually for the next 5 years. The primary study's objective is to assess the safety of the M1 implant and R1 surgical robot, as well as the initial functionality of the Neuralink technology that allows individuals with full-body paralysis to control external devices with their thoughts. This study will be particularly interesting because it will mark the first time the Neuralink R1 robot has been used on a human patient. The R1 is a sewing machine-like device that places the N1 implant's ultra-fine and flexible threads into the motor cortex of the brain. This is the area that controls your intention of movement each patient. The study group, which will likely be around 10 people, at most probably less, will have a flap of skin cut away from their skull by a human surgeon who will then use a cutting tool to remove a circular section of the skull, just large enough to fit the Neuralink device from there. The surgeon may or may not also remove the layer of soft tissue that separates the brain from the skull. This is known as the dura and Neuralink. In the past, that early versions of their procedure have not been able to penetrate through the dura layer. The removal but future updates to the procedure will allow the protective dura to stay in place, and the threads of the Neuralink device will penetrate through the layer as well. At this point, a Neuralink will use an advanced targeting computer to place a total of 64 electrode threads directly into the outer layer of the brain. Penetrating only a couple of millimeters deep, this will be done with a level of precision that avoids any rupture of the blood vessels that flow through the brain tissue. Once the threads are inserted, the N1 device is placed inside the void of the skull, and the skin flap is replaced and sewn shut. The first of its kind surgical procedure will allow the N1 implant to be cosmetically invisible underneath the patient's skin, while still being able to transmit and record brain signals wirelessly through Bluetooth connection to Neuralink's own smartphone app that will decode the movement intention from the cortex and translate it into computer input commands. Giving people the ability to operate a computer cursor and keyboard with just their thoughts is the primary aim of the PRIME study. Elon Musk, the creator of Neuralink, quickly publicized the trial on his now famous social media network. Elon wrote that a Neuralink device, which could eventually restore full body movement, will soon be given to the first human patient. Musk also sees a chance to remind people that the ultimate objective of Neuralink has always been and will always be to create a tool that will connect artificial general intelligence with the human brain. Imagine a future in which we have created the first ever thinking machine, a super intelligent computer that can process terabytes of information in a single second. Elon wrote that in the long run, Neuralink hopes to play a role in AI civilization risk reduction by improving human-to-eye and human-to-human bandwidth by several orders of magnitude. Now, that may sound a bit crazy, but what he means is that a device like Neuralink can eliminate the input lag between human thought and computer action. What human being could possibly keep up with that kind of thing? We would need a direct and instantaneous high bandwidth connection between the human mind and the AI. Otherwise, it will probably grow bored of us pretty quickly, and we will end up living out the plot of Terminator or The Matrix anyway. Typing into a keyboard would not be nearly fast enough, and even spoken language wouldn't be enough. Imagine if Stephen Hawking had this. Elon said as he wrapped up his thought, "That's really getting back to the most practical application here." Even with a major barrier preventing him from communicating, Hawking was still regarded as one of the greatest minds in human history and had a huge impact on the fields of theoretical physics and cosmology. Just think what would have happened if we could have eliminated that barrier to communication. The wider world only needs to consider all that is often lost when we attempt to express our thoughts, feelings, and ideas through traditional language. Then, consider the power of the human mind. If this filter were completely removed, what Neuralink is capable of accomplishing and much more. Elon Musk then elaborated, stating that he believes a Neuralink implant could be utilized in conjunction with the humanoid robotic technology Tesla is creating for the Optimus robot. Elon used Luke Skywalker as an example. At the conclusion of Empire Strikes Back, Luke is given a robotic hand that works exactly like the one that Darth Vader severed. Neural engineering technology has the potential to overcome the physical divide between humans and machines, enabling individuals to the announcement of the human condition and the limitations of the biological form. According to Neuralink, they are especially searching for trial participants who have quadriplegia because of an injury to the cervical spinal cord or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, better known as ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. These individuals would be those who have little to no control over any movement of their body from the neck down. Usually, patients with this condition can only operate electrical devices like computers with the assistance of a specialist. Hardware such as eye tracking systems, which are very expensive and typically cost $17,000 on the lower end of the price range, can also be used to similar effect. A head mouse is a camera system that tracks a person's movement of their forehead and translates it into a movement on a computer screen cursor. Neuralink has the potential to provide a comprehensive solution to this one very important issue. While there are tongue-operated computer mouse options for people with ALS, none of these options are ideal or able to give the patient full control over any electronic device in the same way that an able-bodied person would. Although Neuralink cannot reverse the degenerative effects of ALS or heal a spinal cord injury, it can improve a person's ability to communicate with the outside world, as demonstrated by Neuralink's trials with macaque monkeys. If a monkey can use its neural wiring to play Pong, there's no reason to believe that a human being cannot use the same technology to fully control a computer, and this is just the beginning. To be clear, these are much more speculative claims. Elon Musk has long believed that Neuralink can reverse the effects of a spinal cord injury. He has even gone so far as to theorize that Neuralink technology could reverse the degenerative effects of a brain disease like ALS, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, or even Alzheimer's. The largest issue we have is that, despite the best efforts of our scientists, we still do not fully understand the causes of many of these diseases, much less how we might ever be able to treat them. However, if Neuralink is successful in their first clinical trial, they may be able to pursue this kind of research in the future. For those who believe they may be eligible for a Neuralink trial, there is a patient registry that you can join, which is for both ongoing and future clinical trials. Neuralink leverages its patient registry to gain insight into the requirements of a more extensive and heterogeneous population with a range of disabilities. Anyone with quadriplegia who resides in the United States and is at least 18 years old is eligible to register. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on bell notification for more content like this.